Okay, so let's see this program. That is the implementation of affinity propagation model. Now in this program we have imported few modules. So these are your NumPy, Matplotlib and sklearn module. Now we have imported here date, time and JSON module. So why we have imported these modules? We are using the stock market data available in Matplotlib, and the company symbols are mapped to their full names in the file, this company symbol mapping.json. Now this file is of type JSON format. So that's why we have used your JSON module so that we can load data from that file. And this is your file containing that mapping. And we have loaded here matplotlib.finance, and this is your quotes Yahoo. So this is your data, stock market data. So that's why we have imported this module. Next we are loading the company symbol map. So for that we are using your JSON module, and it is we have used your loads function. So we will get company symbols map data in that variable. Next we are listing this data. We are getting items and we have converted into an array using your NumPy module. So we will get here symbols plus your names. Next, load the historical stock quotes. So what we are doing here, first we are calculating your start date and then we are calculating your end date. So for that we are using date time module for getting time. So this is your start date and this is your end date. So this is your time period you are considering, and next you are getting data from that date to that date for that time period using so you are getting symbol from symbols using for that time period. Next we are extract opening and closing quotes. So for that we are using your NumPy module, and this is your code.open and this is your code.close for opening and closing quotes. And next we are converting its type as float data type. Next we are computing difference between opening and closing quotes. So we are computing difference. So this is your quotes difference. Next we are normalizing the data. So we are using that function for normalizing the data. Next step is to create a graph model. So we have used your graph model. We can use any model. For creating a graph model we have used graph less OCV. So that is for creating a graph model, and we have named it as a edge model. Now next, to train our data with that model, so we are train the model and we're using fit function, and X is your data. Next, build clustering model using affinity propagation model. So this is your important task here. So what we have used here, your affinity propagation, and we have passed here our model which we have trained using our data, so edge model. And next we are getting the maximum using labels, and your final task is to print the result of clustering. So what we are doing here, we are printing here different clusters and your stock data, you can say clustering of stocks. You are making subgroups of stocks based on that time period. So this is your based on difference in opening and closing quotes. So these are your clusters. So we have used here affinity propagation model for creating clusters of our stock data. Now let's see the output. This is your output. So what is the output here? Clustering of stocks based on difference in opening and closing quotes. So these are your different clusters, cluster 1 to 11, and these are your stock data. So these stocks are grouped in different clusters. So this is your stocks and these are your clusters. So we have created here subgroups of our data, subgroups of our stocks into different clusters using clustering algorithm, and that is your affinity propagation model. Okay, so these are your clusters. So let's try this model to create clusters on your data set. You can also use that example, and that's it.